Our Mckinley has ultimately resolved to reveal him for all the abhorrent actions he compelled her to undertake, even initiating a start on OnlyFans even though she never wanted to and kept telling him she didn't want to, leaving her to get robbed by armed gunmen at 3 a.m. in Compton, and ultimately using her as a content slave even though she was mentally distraught. So let's not waste any more time, and let's get straight into it. So Mckinley would appear on the One Night with Steiny podcast just around 1 month after being escorted out of Jack Doherty's Miami mansion by the police, which was due to him apparently violently threatening her. So firstly, let's delve into how Jack supposedly forced her to start an Only even though she never wanted to. And I didn't have an OnlyFans or anything, I actually didn't want to do it. I was so against it. It was against everything that I was raised with, and it just really bothered me. But he told me he'd send me back home if I didn't, so I did it. No swear. Yep, see, this game has such a dark side to it. You guys were dating, and he goes like, no, like I'll send you. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Apparently Jack said to Mckinley that if she doesn't start on OnlyFans he is going to send her back home, which, guys, is a literal threat. Jack pressured this young girl he barely knew into a contract and to sell herself online, and not only that, but since she signed a contract to give him a percentage of her earnings, he literally took all her money. Well, he would just kind of do that. It would always just be thrown back in my face, and I was like, that was never the issue, because at the end of the day, he took all my money, so if anything it's just I was getting mistreated while he was doing that, but it was never a money thing for me ever. Yeah, this is just absolutely absurd and shows us really how evil Jack is. He threatened Mckinley into starting an OAF. Yikes, potential lawsuit incoming. I could see it happening if Jack genuinely threatened Mckinley into starting an OAF. She has grounds to sue and potentially get all the money back Jack stole from her OnlyFans. It's hard. I did not. I literally, anyone can vouch for it. I did not want to do it at all. But we weren't dating, we were just talking, and he said the only way we can date is if you're in this with me, and we created a business. So I was like, okay, I'm dumb looking back on it, to be honest. I don't know why I thought that was healthy, but I did it because people around me also said, this is going to be a really good thing for you, this is a good decision. I was weeping about it and did not inform my parents. It is challenging indeed, but I am committed to pursuing it. The obvious reactions from others often include comments like, you are being compensated for this. Initially, they responded with disbelief, saying, are you joking? Call you a. But that's what comes with the whole business side of this. That's true. So then Mckinley would go on to expose Jack on how the content they made was always so violent and negative, such as all the car crashes and robberies. Mckinley was always in emotional distress, which literally made her no longer want to be in any of the social media stuff because it was just so draining. When I was on Lacey's stream, for example, I'm just comparing the two. That content was so fun to make, whereas his is always violent, always negative. I was always in tears. Everything was just so real viral, kind of go viral in the bad ways though. And me being tied to that, it was just not really the best look on me. And also just my mental, emotional health, physical. Even I got robbed in LA the last time we went. That one was real. That was real. I was in Compton at 3 a.m. because he was nice. Yeah, at a takeover racing at all. Yeah, we were at a takeover and I was sitting in the Sprinter because I didn't want to go outside because it was terrifying, and me in Compton at 3 a.m. I don't look like I belong there. So I went into the Sprinter and I made eye contact with two guys in shisties, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to need to turn the lights off cause this is not good. Deactivate the lights in the Sprinter van. I proceeded to the rear, reclined, and then I heard the front door open, leading me to believe that everyone had returned. Instead, it was a man wearing a surgical blue mask, which was alarming, accompanied by blue gloves, a suitcase, and a firearm. He gazed at me and inquired, who is in this party bus? I observed him as he leaped over the seat, approached me and demanded, give me all your money. He possessed the firearm. This was unequivocally the most traumatic experience of my life. Mckinley was not only distressed by the fabricated content, but she was also robbed at gunpoint while inside Jack's Sprinter van, as he deserted her in a desolate location. It is abundantly clear that Jack is not only a reprehensible individual but also an abysmal boyfriend. This serves as irrefutable evidence of his indifference towards Mckinley, as he seemingly exploited her merely for her attractiveness to garner attention. The Beverly Hills possess a firearm. I am uncertain about your approach. I was wearing a sweatshirt and all my jewelry, and I did not consider offering them anything. In that moment, I would have willingly gone on my hands and knees and said, take everything you desire. I was completely indifferent. I would repeat the same action, as I could easily purchase another phone. Yeah, I don't care, just please don't hurt me, don't do anything, your life is too important. It was horrible, and then it was streamed after. I just can't wait till Jack is finally taken to court, either for a lawsuit or a RICO like Diddy, because the things he does to these poor girls is crazy. Like, the only excuse I can find for Jack is that he is just a brainless monkey who is too focused on the money, but even then he is still responsible for his actions. And the next thing she'll talk about is how this OnlyFans stuff and content and social media in general isn't even worth the money at some point, because if you think about it, is it worth disappointing and embarrassing your loved ones online for money for? Is it worth it for that amount of money? It was absolutely. That's one thing I learned, not that I was even there for money even to begin with. I think him and I really actually genuinely loved each other in the beginning, and I really did have feelings for him, but it's like, I don't know, it was ruined. It really was so ruined. I couldn't make myself feel like that anymore, and I couldn't associate myself with someone that just constantly got off to making me cry, got off to making me feel something like, you're so beautiful, when she's bawling her eyes. The only time he would compliment her was when she was bawling her eyes out, or if he did something. It makes sense at one point. Is the money enough? She's probably so exhausted from constantly milking herself and her body from the content, and now she can do whatever she wants because she's finally free from Jack. Now she's doing fun streams with Lacey and actually having a fun time. Anyways, she would next talk about how she finally let go of Jack. We drove in a little corner, like, can we get your ass outside right now, like we're done? Ultimately, the decision to exit a relationship rests solely with the individual, irrespective of the advice from family and friends urging them to leave due to adverse circumstances. There were numerous instances when I contemplated ending the relationship, yet I found myself unable to do so. I had to reconcile this internally, as I initially perceived potential that ultimately proved illusory. Furthermore, after finally revealing the truth about Jack, she speculated on the authenticity of his recent chain theft. He indeed had his chain stolen, but I merely seek your perspective on the matter. For those unaware, this is at your discretion. Yet it strikes me as contrived. I genuinely believe it is staged. Individuals will endure considerable challenges for a video. He must increase his financial resources since they are depleted. In summary, it is evident that Jack Doy's association with Mckinley Richardson was thoroughly tumultuous from inception to conclusion, involving alleged coercion for her to establish an OnlyFans account contrary to her desires, as well as deserting her in perilous circumstances, such as the robbery in Compton. Jack's behavior paints a pretty sad picture. It's one thing to create shocking content for clicks, but when the line between real life and stage drama blurs to the point of genuinely endangering someone's safety, it's a whole different story. And honestly, at this point, it's not just a bad breakup, it's a potential legal nightmare. If Mckinley's claims are true, Jack could be facing some serious consequences, from financial restitution to possible lawsuits. The guy might end up in more courtrooms than a Judge Judy marathon if this keeps up. But for Mckinley, it seems like she's finally free from the chaos, moving on to more positive ventures and finding peace away from Jack's high-stress, higher-drama lifestyle. Hopefully she continues to thrive, and the entire saga serves as a warning for anyone thinking about getting involved in the chaotic world of YouTube cloud chasing. Anyway, so that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video.